Welcome and thank you all for joining us today for our panel discussion, Baicells Unfiltered, Real Talk on Real Networks and LTE on the Rocks. Here to present from Baicells Technologies is their Sales and Business Solutions Director, Alex Perot, and representing Winncom Technologies, our very own solutions architect, Michael Hughes. If anyone has any questions throughout this presentation, please feel free to add them into the chat and they'll be addressed during the session. Mike, you're up.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining. My name is Michael Hughes. I'm a solutions architect at Winncom. And just to let you know, Winncom's a worldwide enhanced engineering distributor that was established in 1996, serving over 10,000 entities in over 96 markets worldwide and representing 90 or 70 manufacturers, including Baicells. So we sell Baicells radios and antennas and power supplies and cabling and everything that would go along with that with Baicells. So Alex, why don't you reintroduce yourself?
Thank you, Mike. For those who don't know me, I am Alex and I work with Baicells across the Americas. We are always helping customers and partners designing and deploying 4G and 5G networks. So today we'll be taking your questions and we'll keep things very concise and straight to the point.
So Alex, to start us off, can you let us know how Baicells is positioned globally?
Thank you, Mike, for the question. Maybe I should start by giving a quick snapshot overview. I actually have a slide here that gives a really good overview of where we stand in the bigger picture. Just hold a second for me. Okay, so Baicells has been around for a little over 11 years now. And during that time, we have expanded into more than 80 countries. Today, we support over 1,400 customers, including more than 15 tier 1 operators across the globe. We have about 800 employees and nearly 400 of them are in R&D. So this is what really has powered our growth, our R&D, our research and development. We also have hold about 700 patents across several product lines, including 4G and 5G radios and CPEs. And yes, we are backed by Qualcomm Ventures and Greenland Ventures. And Qualcomm is also our strategic partner shareholder. So the simplest way to put it is this: Baicells is always innovating, and we have become a global supplier for everyone, from the big MNOs to tribal nations. Anyone who needs high quality performance, networks without the complexity and heavy overhead of traditional OEMs. Well, I think that covers it.
Hey, Alex, can you reveal some of your top customers?
Thanks, Mike. I think we have another slide. We put together a few slides, and I think just hold for me for a second. Let me just find that. Okay, it's coming up. Okay, so on this slide, you're going to notice that Baicells works with a broad mix of MNOs, technology companies, and enterprise partners. Internationally, we work with companies like Vodafone, UK, Telefonica, Spain, Orange, France, Telenor, Norway, NTT, SoftBank in Japan, Airtel in India, MTN, South Africa, and True and in AIS in Thailand, and Ooredoo in Qatar. So pretty much everything that you see here in the slides, are using Baicells in different capacities. Here in the local market here in the US, we support many WISP members, along with several tribal nations that are using the 2.5 gigahertz to improve broadband for homes, schools, and community services. On the enterprise and tech side, we collaborate with Meta, Qualcomm, Salona, Helion, just to name a few, especially in the 3.5 gigahertz CBRS spectrum. Overall, we think that this slide highlights how diverse our ecosystem is from international MNOs to local broadband providers and tribal nations and enterprise leaders. So all of this has led to more than 600,000 radios.
Hey,
Yep. Yes.
are you done there, or can I ask another? Can you go over where Baicells radios are typically deployed and maybe some use cases?
Sure. Maybe I got disconnected, but can I finish the sentence?
Sure. Sorry.
Sure. No, we're just saying that, all this diverse ecosystem, has led to more than 600,000 radios and over 1 million CPEs shipped globally. And what is the question again?
Oh, I was just asking you if you can go over where Baicells radios are kind of typically deployed and maybe go over some main use cases.
Sure. By the way, we have selected a few use cases, that show how customers, come to Baicells with specific challenges. So let's take a look at them. Okay, here, the ask was, communities that needed, reliable wireless service. Let's take a look at what was happening, in Las Vegas, the metro area, where around 20% of residents didn't have reliable broadband services. This, created, issues for families, remote workers, and schools, where roughly about 30,000 students struggle to connect online. I have also another case here. This is for the Tohono O'odham Nation in Arizona, with a territory spanning more than 3 million acres. Much of the region relied on outdated DSL, circuits that couldn't handle the demand. And because of the size and terrain, fiber wasn't feasible. So both needed fast, reliable connectivity, and that's where Baicells came in. The solution was very simple: deliver fast, reliable, and secure broadband using licensed and shared spectrum. Working with partners and municipalities, we deployed a little over 100 outdoor 4G radios with 2.5 and 3.5 gigahertz, and a little over 100 CPEs. What was the impact? It was reliable broadband across the Las Vegas metro, and reliable broadband for over 3,000 homes across 72 villages in Arizona. I have another use case, Mike. Can I show that as well?
Yes.
I actually have like 4 use cases that I want to go over.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's take this one here. This is a mission critical application for hospitals. This next deployment that I'm showing here is one of our major indoor projects in the healthcare sector. This was located in the city of Himeji in Japan. Okay, just to give you some context here, a newly formed chain of 4 hospitals needed a more reliable way to improve staff communications and support telehealth devices, as well patient monitors, heart rate sensors, blood pressure systems, and so on. The customer shared with Baicells the blueprints of 4 buildings with 48 floors and a very large parking lot, exceeding 1.5 million square feet in area. The solution would design a very robust private 4G network at 1900 megahertz, and a total of 65 neutrinos were deployed to ensure 100% indoor coverage with full mobility. Well, yes, some may say that it was over-designed, but for mission critical, applications, this is what you want. You want to be able to provide almost 100% indoor coverage. What was the impact? Now, the network now supports over 1,000 telehealth and IoT devices every day. This device handle, anything from patient monitoring, staff communication, or emergency alerts. Most importantly, the staff finally have a network they can trust. So let me move on to my next, use case.
Yep.
So here, let's take a look at what Baicells is doing for, agribusiness and mining. So what was the challenge? Both sectors face similar issues: large remote areas and heavy machinery with critical operations needing a latency less than 40 milliseconds. In one hand, we had the farmers that needed better data collection for soil and water conditions, crop health and growth, machinery and pest control. On the other hand, for the mining, customers needed a centralized network to connect LiDAR, GNSS sensors, drones, telemetry, and cameras. So the solution, working with partners down in Brazil, we helped deploy over 100 Baicells B28 700 MHz in OBs using HelloB, which is our embedded core. We're going to talk about it a little later. And so you had a chance, option to use HelloB, or you could deploy using a third-party EPC across farms and mining sites. What was the impact? Customers now operate reliable broadband service supporting low latency applications like real-time telemetry and BIoT sensors and automated equipment. Mike, now personally, I think the next slide that I'm going to show is by far one of the greatest 5G applications we have designed. Well, let's take a look at that. So this is for a racetrack, another project that we have done in Brazil. This is for the stock car. So the ask was improve real-time video telemetry and live streaming for about 30 plus race cars traveling at speeds ranging from 120 to 200 kilometers per hour. Public networks and Wi-Fi couldn't handle the mobility or latency requirements. So the solution that we designed here, we help design a private 4G standalone network using our 5G products, the Aurora 243s, that are available here for the US market. And each car needed uplink to support 4 high-definition cameras plus telemetry. So as you can see here, the network, we standardize on 6 Auroras, per racetrack at 40 dBm in power. We connected a power splitter, and each tower had 2 antennas. We mounted the antennas at 6 meters, and we deploy using a 100 megahertz channel at 3.7 gigahertz. This is the private spectrum for the country. Also, a local AMF core was deployed, providing less than 5 milliseconds of latency. And all the cars had CPEs mounted inside, feeding the 4 HD cameras. What was the impact? As you can see here, real-time video, the race control, safety monitoring, and team visibility. For the telemetry, now we can collect speed, RPM, brake pressure, tire temperature, G-force, GPS, and fuel flow, with an easy of data collection with no major issues. And live streaming, we can do TV broadcasting and social media. Well, Mike, I think that covers for my slides.
Yeah, so Alex, I think you did a good job of talking about kind of like the benefits of Baicells, and Baicells has a wide range of radios. So Alex went over indoor use cases that they actually have deployed, outdoor use cases, the different radios, they have different CPE that goes with each application. And then this last one really illustrates kind of the benefit, not only of Baicells, but of LTE and 5G, in the fact that it has mobility. It's not necessary. It doesn't have to be a fixed network. It can be a normal mobile LTE 5G network. So Baicells makes it super easy. They provide a large range of different outdoor radios, indoor radios, lots of different CPE that goes with it. You can use anybody's CPE. Alex talked about that you can hit the easy button by using their CloudCore for their 4G radios. That's the evolved packet core that all LTE 5G networks need. They provide that. We'll talk about their 5G core. They also make it super easy that you can use anybody else's evolved packet core because Baicells conforms to the LTE 5G 3GPP standards. So every piece of their equipment and networking is intercompatible with that standard. Don, are there any audience questions?
Sure, we have a few up here. Start with, does Baicells have a 5G core?
Mike, I think I can answer that.
Okay.
Thank you, Don, for the question. Yes, we actually, our 5G core is called Baicore. Okay, so we have, AMF, full blown with mobility, with data and voice, with everything that you can ask for. And but we are also working on our next generation product line, where we will have embedded 5G cores integrated directly into our 5G radios. This is going to be, we're going to be able to enable simpler deployments and lower latency. But yes, we do have a 5G core.
So Alex, how do you sell that? Do you sell it as like software on servers or on VMs, or is it like a cloud service like your 4G CloudCore is? How's it?
Yeah, Mike is still we're still working on it. I think I might have more answers a couple of months from now. But the idea is to have, use CloudCore, but have the local traffic being terminated on the radio. It's going to be, very similar to what we do with HelloB. But we also have the option of you deploying, on a VM or deploying, on bare metal. Think like, we have a full-blown, 5G core solution.
Yeah. Yeah. So everybody, sorry, Alex, for
interrupting. No, just saying that right now we're just, working on the embedded core because the radios they have to be upgraded, to have at least, the processing power of 8 cores that they can handle the 5G. They can handle the, the AMF as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, everybody, Baicells does a really good job. They call it CloudCore. It's their 4G evolved packet core, which controls the LTE network, which every LTE network needs. But it's also their network management network for all their radios and CPE. Super intuitive, super easy to use. It's based on the cloud. They also, like Alex said, have the capability of integrating that onboard on their radios or onto your own servers. In addition to all of that, they're, like I said before, they're also open so that you can use anybody's evolved packet core on with Baicells equipment. Don, is there any other questions?
Yeah, that was a great answer. What trends are driving global demand for private wireless networks? What trends do you see?
Want to take that, Alex?
Yeah, sure. Let me just think about it. Okay. So what we're seeing that the market right now is accelerating due to several convergent trends. Okay, I would say the first one is the high bandwidth and low latency applications. Hyper-connected organizations. Systems communicating in real time with, CRM, supply chain, IoT devices, field teams, and more. The data-driven decisions, AI, analytics, and automation predicting demand and optimizing processes. Intelligence, workflows where AI assistants are and automated operations are replacing, the manual, labor and tasks. The growth in telehealth and medical IoT, and the rising demand for remote broadband for rural and tribal communities?
You know, I see it as, I've always kind of talked about this with customers, that when people ask, hey, what's the trends and how do you use private LTE? My first response is always, you use it where Wi-Fi is not good enough. Wi-Fi was architected and developed to replace wires at a desktop. It wasn't really meant to be a mobile wireless network. On the other hand, cellular, LTE and 5G, originally they were architected for cell phones in cars, and that was the last use case that Alex described as far as these race cars. Cellular was designed to go in cars and to hand off between radios so that it had mobility. So where Wi-Fi is not good enough, either there's too much congestion on Wi-Fi, there's too much interference on Wi-Fi, devices need to move around, like the race car example, or the agriculture or the mining equipment moving around. That's where perhaps if you want to compare private LTE and Baicells equipment to Wi-Fi, Wi-Fi can do that stuff, but it has a hard time doing it. So if you guys have applications or issues where your Wi-Fi is not good enough, then a private LTE network is probably the best thing to look at.
Okay. Do you offer full support for a new setup? Does Baicells offer full support for a new setup?
Alex, I'll let you answer that, and then I'll answer it too. Maybe I'll answer it. So from a Winncom perspective,
sorry, Mike, I muted myself.
Yeah.
No, I was just asking. Did you mean like commissioning?
Yeah,
radios?
I think the question's kind of intended to, like, rather than just buying your radios, would you guys help companies deploy it, configure it, design it?
Yes, 100%. Yes.
Yeah. What I was trying to say
right
too,
now with the tribal nation that we send our personnel to help every step of the way.
Yeah, and from a Winncom perspective, like I said at the start of the call, we're also an enhanced engineering distributor. So we have a staff of engineers that can certainly help with the design work. We can help you with what's the right Baicells radio to get for your particular application. As I mentioned before, there's all the other accessories that go along with it, right? It's not just Baicells radios and evolved packet core that needs to go with it, and CPE. There's also, perhaps antennas that are required and power supplies that are required and cabling and jumpers. Winncom can certainly help you guys with all that stuff. And then, one step further, we can also, in addition to Baicells, we can help stage the equipment and configure the equipment for you.
Very nice. Well, speaking of CPEs, does Baicells offer 4G and 5G CPE devices?
I think I can answer that, Mike. Yes, we do have, a large, portfolio for 4G and 5G outdoor and indoor CPEs. We cover, FWA, 4x4 MIMO, and, from Cat 6 to Cat 19. So we have a diverse, number of CPEs that we can offer.
Yeah, and CPEs are the end user devices, like your cell phone, where a SIM card would go in it to deliver like an Ethernet service off that CPE.
So and if you look behind that,
the nice thing about Baicells CPE is that it can also be managed by their CloudCore network management system, so you can remotely access the CPE equipment, monitor it. There's lots of tools. It makes it super simple to monitor their CPE network. And then I don't want to take anything away from Baicells, but again, because they're standards based on the 3GPP standards, their radios will interoperate with any LTE 5G CPE equipment. So, and again, I don't want to take away from Baicells, but you don't necessarily have to use Baicells CPE. You can use whatever CPE that you want. You can use cell phones.
Yes, Mike, 100%. And just to make sure everybody understands that, so on the stock car, we deploy our radios, but we use, an OEM that was not ours, because they had, very specific requirements, in terms of enclosure. So we had to look in the market for, another option. So yes, the radios, they can work with any CPE and any third-party car. As long as it is a 3GPP, spec, we have 100% compliance.
And I'll throw out the secret. So on the race cars, use Teltonica
Yes.
CPE equipment, and Winncom also sells to Teltonica CPE.
Nice. Is the mobility an advantage of LTE 5G?
Oh yes, 100%. What you can do with mobility, you cannot do with Wi-Fi or any other kind of wireless technology. And the beautiful of this is you can support real-time video and telemetry while you're moving. So the whole thing about having mobility is that for any kind of application, being a cotton farm or mining or the stock car, you're always on the move. So this thing that you cannot do a handover, it's not going to work. So we proud ourselves that our solution are fully compatible. We do handovers not only between Baicells and Baicells, but we have tested Baicells with Ericsson. We have tested Baicells with ZTE, with Huawei, with a large number of different OEMs, where we tested handovers coming from Baicells radio to another radio, and from another vendor coming back to Baicells. So it's a big plus.
Yeah, and I think that question also kind of compares the Baicells LTE 5G true mobility versus maybe a point to multi-point proprietary wireless network that some manufacturers are doing, where and maybe more for wireless internet service providers, where a device would be attached stationary on somebody's house to deliver internet. Those point to multi-point systems aren't built for that mobility. So maybe they're good at getting to one certain site, but it's that device isn't intended to move around. So if the use case was education and it was getting internet to a family's home so that they could have internet, perhaps that's a good use case for it. But with LTE coming off of a school district, a kid could put like a MiFi, LTE MiFi device in his backpack and go between his family's home to his grandma's house and still have internet coverage through that one device. Illustrating that mobility capability of LTE.
Thank you, Mike. That's very correct.
Are there more questions, Donna? I do have one final one too.
Okay, I have two more questions. What is the maximum channel bandwidth that Baicells can deliver or operate?
That depends on the product line. Like if we're talking about the 3.5, we can do 100 megahertz. If you go a little higher, like the 24, 26 gigahertz, we can do 400 megahertz.
And that's your 5G equipment, right?
Yes. Oh, you talk? Yes. On the 4G is limited to 40 megahertz.
I think that answers that, Tom.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you show how to find radios and devices on the Baicells website?
Sure, I can. Yeah. Hold. You just give me
That
a
was
second.
my last question too, because I think it's just everybody. Baicells has a very nice website to find all their equipment. It's organized by 4G, 5G, radios, CPE, and then you don't have to drill too far down in order to get data sheets and configuration guides. They make it super easy.
Well, let me see. Let me try to,
You gonna, yeah, bring it up.
yeah. Can you see what I'm sharing?
Yeah, we can see your website.
Okay, so this is where you can get the, products, and promotional packages, and all different flavors of, 4G and 5G technologies. So like what Mike was saying a little earlier, let's take a look at the 5G base stations. And let's take a look at the one that was deployed on the stock car, okay, which is this one here. So here you can get, you can see the product. Down here you have, a brief description, the highlights of the specs of the radio. And if you just go down here, you can also download the datasheet for it. So this is, if you're looking, a specific product, let's go back and we can do the same thing for 4G.
And that's just at Baicells.com, right?
Yes. Yes. /product.
Yeah.
Okay. Then let me show you what we have. Let's say that if you're looking for documents and configuration, okay, let me go there as well. We're going to share this later, Mike, so everybody's going to get a copy of this with the links, so they can, go back and look for information.
Yep.
Hold on, it's coming up. Okay, here we have documents. This is where you can get, documents for every product that we currently have, in stock. Okay. Here we have, BCPs, we have 5G, we even have a little bit of blockchain.
Yeah.
Here we have the configurations and solutions, anything you need.
Yeah, so I think the summary of their documentation is super easy to find, which might not be the case with maybe some other radio manufacturers. The other thing too is I can see the support tab. You can take out your trouble tickets right off the support tab. It's super easy to do.
Yeah, you have two options. You can either use the website, or you can, if you send an email to support@baicells.com, it will automatically create a trouble ticket for you. So you have two options.
Any other questions, Don?
Wonderful. Yeah, we're kind of getting short on time. I would suggest that if somebody has submitted a question that we have not responded to yet, someone will reach out post the session to answer it. So I would just like to say a quick thank you to our panelists and all who are attending. Be sure to keep an eye out for that follow-up email that was discussed. It will include links to the information you just learned. If you have any questions, you'll know how to reach out. So again, thank you everyone, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day.
Thank you everybody. Really appreciate your presence. Thank you. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Don. Appreciate it.